in the main part of the fort. Back that away and stuff, there were many Confederate defense positions, but this was coming into the heart of the fort. That's pretty cool. A lot of history. And we got a monument to the Confederate troops. This was all part of the battlefield. And I'll bet you there's still some places in here, because there was a lot of troops, especially Confederate, that went missing unaccounted for, and you know, just never know. Some of them could have wandered off, seriously wounded, and died. And they have found mass graves, but I'm sure there's still some soldiers unaccounted for that they never did find. Part of picket fences. Another defense perimeter. Can you imagine back in 1862 is when the Union forces attacked, when General Grant attacked Fort Donelson. And all these areas back then were manned by soldiers. And a lot of them, they were fighting for their life. Down in this valley was actually the tent and where the living quarters of the average soldiers, and that whole area was pitched with tents. And I guess the privileged, or the officers, they had these little wooden shacks, which we will see in just a second. Another guns. That's another shot of the valley where all the tents were, where a lot of troops were living at the time. There's one of the wooden shacks that represented one of many that some of them would live in. But here's a little up close. I had to finally get out of the vehicle. My wife keeps saying, let me drive, but you know how us guys are. But they, a lot of them would live during the winter time, and the lucky ones are to have places like that. And there were quite a few around here. But like I said before, all in that valley, all around here, all through there, going down, was nothing but tents. And that's where the infantry, a lot of them in this sector, where they lived at, of the Union. So anyway, you can kind of pretty much figure that when the fighting was over, this place was very bloody. There's a cannon, and there's the storage. Use it carrying powder, cannonballs. I'm sure those were found all over this place. Okay, we're gonna sorry, we're gonna move on. Now here we're coming down to the artillery batteries. And hopefully we can get down there. Oh, there's a squirrel. Squirrel. I get distracted too easy. And there's a few of the cannons. And the one victory that the South did have at this battle, they did repel a naval invasion that the Union was trying to conduct on this fort. So there was a barrage from the cannons from that area. And where that big tree is, right in the middle of those two, that's where their powder storage was. Squirrel better move it. Oops, sorry. Oh man, that water is up. I'm gonna pause it for a second. Okay. You can kind of get a little bit better picture of the types of cannons that they used. Like I said, that is one artillery battery there. There's a few more. So this is the hillside. And all of this, you see the protective mounds. Can you imagine this place just crawling with soldiers at that time? Ooh, to show you that the water is up. Look at that big tree. It's trying to take away that buoy. I think it slowly is doing it. I see the tree moving. Yeah, it's going to take that dude away. Everything is flooded. Water's really up. Hey, I see a tire. It's a white rim. Nah, it won't fit. How's that thing floating? Okay, the Union forces, their naval fleet, came up this way. And they got in here from the Tennessee River, which it joins with the Cumberland. And they started coming right about where my finger is from the direction. And this is another artillery battery. Actually, some troops, there is where this land is jutting out right there, there is, I think it might be right in there. The troops, the Union, were trying to cut through those trees into this area, but it was pretty marshy, and so that repelled them. But here they were pretty successful, where they repelled the Union naval attack. Hey, there's an eagle. We got him here. See him in the top of that tree? We're going to see how close we can get up to that eagle. Oh, I wished I had my other camera. If I knew the weather. Yeah, that's it. He's up there. Y'all see him, don't you? At the top of the tree. That's an eagle. See how close we can get to him. Hopefully he won't fly. This kind of depicts a little bit of the type of ships that came up here trying to attack this fort. The gunboats. Made of steel, wooden deck. That's the USS Cincinnati. And there's another gun emplacement. And another one. So pretty much you can see where they were aimed at. They had that river. They had it covered. If they were successful and was able to repel the Union invasion, Fort Donelson, who knows? But I don't think that would have changed history. It was inevitable. I'm proud to be an American. Okay, this picture is depicting the artillery barrage. And this is the Cumberland River. There's this first one right there. So apparently they were, even though I'm sure they were shooting them this way, they got up to about right here. But they had to go. They had to turn around. And this is the artillery. Cannon battery. And this is the first one that we've seen. And it's offset. And over here, about where those trees were, that's where their stores was for the gunpowder. It was on that hill. That's something, man. Control the rivers and the railroad. Fort Donelson, Clarksville. Actually, the whole state of Tennessee. If you look at it, this is the Cumberland. And that's the Tennessee, which the North did control. But if you noticed, all of the railroads back in that time, they all went through this area. That's why it was imperative, for many reasons, that the North takes Tennessee. And they did. And they controlled the railroads, and they controlled the waterways. So this way they were able to move a lot of their troops. Didn't have too good of luck in Georgia because they did tear up the tracks. But these are pictures of the steamboats back then. And picture of the trains. Things sure have changed. There's much more to this park, to this battlefield. I'd say this is about the most of stuff that you see at one time. The rest of it is hills, defense positions. I like it here because it's really nice. I tell you, if this ground could talk, the stories and cries that we would probably hear. I guess they're, maybe this is where they probably had 2 more cannons. I don't know why they got these laying down. Thought for a second they might have just been fake, because once in a while they're not able to keep all the good ones, but no, those are real. Maybe this is where they had 2 more cannon positions. Hey, let's see if we have. There's that eagle again. Hopefully you can see him move. This video is going to be so long. There's a little placard for this battery. I'm just going to kind of leave it here for a second, and you can always pause it and read it. That's just too much for me to repeat. But it talks about the river batteries here. So you can always pause it and read it. I wish that eagle would just happen to take flight. Psh. He turned his head. Psh. Probably thinking, who are you? He's a bald eagle. Actually, we call them bald eagles, but really they're not bald. They're just white. They got a white head. He's looking at me. God, he's big, man. I wish he would do something. He's looking around, but he's chilling. I'm not gonna bother him. But here's some more of the the ground. Back then, infantry and commanders on horses, and probably explosions from incoming fire from the boats, and just use your imagination, man. This is probably the one crazy place then. But they took over Fort Donelson on the 16th. They started on February the 11th, 1862. And just a few days. Then they went up the Cumberland towards Clarksville. They took over Fort Defiance. Actually, the fort was just evacuated. The Confederates that were there didn't think it was worth it, so they took the resources. They went on into Clarksville. Then a lot of them went towards Nashville, where they regrouped and fought in the Battle of Franklin and other areas in that region. Actually, Middle Tennessee was practically expunged of Confederate troops, and they did stay in the southern part, and they managed to come up and they held a lot of major areas in Middle Tennessee again, but then the Union forces went against them and pushed them back out. So that water's dangerously high. Would not be a good time to be in a boat. Got a ranger over here. He's kind of hanging around. Guess watching me because the back of my vehicle says Clarksville Diggers. He's gonna probably think that I'm gonna be relic hunting. No, I'll be lying if I said I wouldn't be tempted. And I do have my detector with me, but I wouldn't do it. I respect the law. I'll tell you, I bet right in there though I could find some cannonballs and some bullets, probably even a buckle. You never know, especially down around that river. There's my better half. She's in the vehicle. But we just had to get out. We had to get out of the house. So that's many of my digging places right now. They're underwater. But I did meet a friend, and he's going to take me to an old abandoned school. So we just he's going to catch up to me when the weather's nice, when all this rain stops, where we can get together. Fortunately, he's retired, so he's free, but he's willing to work with my schedule, so that's good. This school, I think, has been abandoned for about 50 or 80 years. It was used during the 30s and 40s. It's a beautiful place. We'll get video of it. So I'm going... What was it? Oh, that's that eagle. You hear him? Did you hear it? That was pretty cool. So this is going to probably be our sign off. There's the dirty Cumberland. During the battle, that was half that size. It was pretty small. So this is going to be a closing. We're going to say goodbye. Happy hunting. Say goodbye to Mr. Eagle. We're going to go get this uploaded. It's a little something. We didn't get to do no digging, but we got to go somewhere kind of cool. A couple more places, but like I said, this was the better one. And that was the lower battery where those cannons, so that matches up with that picture. Well, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for riding with us and coming here. And y'all have a blessed night. And we'll see you soon. Joanne and I says bye.